Greetings, mere mortals, and welcome back to Monster Month! And cobra-la, please kill me.
Half the battle has been going on for over 6 years, so you should know the format by now. Introduction, followed by meet this toy from this year with these body parts, blah blah blah.
Today, we're gonna be doing things a little differently. Because first, I'm gonna show you some footage from the movie.
Meet Nemesis Enforcer. This character towers over the others. He's extremely strong and intimidating. Look at him next to a regular character.
Got that? Good.
Now meet Nemesis Enforcer.
What is even the hell?
He looks about as intimidating as the fabulous Frogman. Yes, that's a real Marvel superhero. Look him up. I was shocked he wasn't in Infinity War 2. I mean, this toy sort of looks like the cartoon version, if you squint, and are really, really high. So yeah, from the very start, this figure is a disappointment. It was released in 1987 with all original, inadequate body parts.
Though, as a monster toy, it does get one thing right.
Honestly, it's even an improvement on the movie version. The eyes. While in the cartoon he has normal ones, here they are all white and give him a creepy, otherworldly look.
I heartily approve.
Too bad the rest of his face makes him look like a grumpy old geezer. The overall look is sort of bland, really, which is something I would have thought was impossible considering the type of character he is, but here we are. He kind of has that exoskeleton look going like the Royal Guard, but far more subdued. There is lots of detailing on the figure, I'll give it that. Hell, most of it has this mesh-like texture on it, and the torso looks okay.
Back to the cartoon comparison.
He has these huge retractable blades coming out of his arms, so powerful they can bend steel. But they are missing on the figure.
Hang on, wait a minute.
They are there! You just need a freaking magnifying glass to appreciate them, but he does have them.
I mean, I know size isn't everything. That's what every woman that's ever met Timora said. But come on!
Sure, you could say they are in their retracted position here, but would it have killed them to make some clip-on accessories for the blades?
Speaking of accessories, this figure did have some, but we're gonna have to go back to the movie first.
You see, he can fly thanks to the huge, intimidating bat wings he has. And he does have these as an accessory, but we're keeping the losing streak alive since they are too small and goofy looking. Seriously, is everything about this toy designed to be unimpressive? He also has a backpack that was just a bunch of tentacles. He certainly didn't have those on his back in the movie. Honestly, they look more like they belong in a Japanese cartoon than anything else. And that was the 1987 Nemesis Enforcer figure.
I can sum it up in one clip.
Disappointed!
Yeah, this thing is just a letdown all the way through. But, strangely enough, we are not done talking about toys.
You see, Nemesis Enforcer got a second figure, years and years later, in 2008.
He came in a pack that also included a Lieutenant Falcon figure and an exclusive comic book. though they had to change his name for copyright reasons. Yeah, they apparently lost the rights to the Nemesis Enforcer name.
In this case, I don't really blame Hasbro. I mean, would you want to hold on to the cobra-la IP?
So, meet Nemesis Immortal. This figure was released in 2008 with mostly original body parts. Yeah, his torso is from a Serpentor figure. And everything they got wrong with the original toy, they got right with this one. He looks a hell of a lot more like the movie version. And then there's the height. The new body construction figures are 4 inches tall, so usually they look out of place next to the old 3 3/4 inch toys. I mean, just look at freaking Tunnel Rat here, for God's sake. That's just wrong, you know?
But for some characters, it really works.
The Battle Android Trooper, for example. That looks fine, as it's supposed to be big and intimidating. And it works really, really well for Nemi here. He is supposed to tower over the Joes and scare the crap out of them. And this figure does just that. And look! Actual full-sized blades on his arms! This whole figure seems to be an apology for the first. It even continues with an accessory. Remember those bat wings? Well, check these mother lovers out. Now that is how it's supposed to be done. And impressively, this figure can stand on its own even with these huge wings attached. Overall, he looks monstrous. He looks cool. He looks intimidating.
This figure does the impossible and makes something from cobra-la look good.
Although, he does still come with those weird tentacle things for some reason. Still, A+ otherwise.
With that, it's time to talk about the character, starting with the file card.
And the file card is pretty damn awesome. It states Galobulus raised this creature from a pile of dead things, and that there is nothing but emptiness where his soul should be. So he's basically Frankenstein. Also, he was created many centuries ago, and so he may have been what inspired ancient myths of vampires, harpies, and other monsters when humans caught a glimpse of him.
I'm just gonna quote the file card here. Ahem. He is the other presence in that pitch black room. He is the lurker in the dark, just outside your bedroom window. He is the dread that stands behind you in the dark and dares you to turn and face him.
Now that is an extremely well done, chilling description.
Too bad I only gave you part of the quote.
Since it also says he rattles the garbage cans and makes your floors creak.
Yeah, that's less being scary and more being an asshole.
Still, other than that, this is an excellent character building file card. Just pretend it's about this figure and not this guy. The new file card is identical anyway, except for calling him Nemesis Immortal. Also, the first version has really goofy artwork of him. Seriously, that expression. Dar.
Honestly, Immortal isn't a bad name, considering it appears that's just what he is.
Now, as I said last week, cobra-la didn't appear in the original comics. But as we saw today, in 2008, there was an exclusive comic made for this 2-pack, written by Larry Hama, no less. Yes, after 21 years, Larry wrote about cobra-la.
I can only imagine the dump truck of money they had to offer him.
Though it might have also been about revenge, as the first page has Falcon carrying a wounded Dusty to an evac site, telling him the Joes never leave anybody behind, except Snake Eyes, because there's nothing more dangerous than leaving a wounded, pissed-off Snake Eyes behind.
Call me crazy, but that sounds like a 2 decades old grudge Larry had against this scene.
Anyway, the comic is mostly Nemesis Nemesis Immortal stalking Falcon and vice versa. In it, Nemi gets shot, stabbed, bazookaed, set on fire, and exploded. And like the goddamn Terminator, he just won't stop. Falcon barely gets away, and the last page implies a missile barrage from a Tomahawk might have taken him out. But that's not guaranteed. So yeah, the character looks really strong in this comic. No complaints there.
That just leaves G.I. Joe the movie. Again. Because this hell never ends.
Nemesis Enforcer is introduced when he stops the Havoc's little flying car and takes out Roadblock. But that's just the appetizer, as he then lifts the Havoc itself with his bare hands and uses his blade as a can opener.
And then he bitch slaps Cobra Commander.
You are as impressive as ever.
Yeah, that seems to be a theme in this movie.
The whole point of the movie character seems to be that he's a foil for Sergeant Slaughter.
They end up fighting twice, with Slaughter winning during the final battle for cobra-la, where he injures his wing and gets thrown into a chasm, presumably to his death. But since we never see a body, and this is the G.I. Joe cartoon we're talking about here, I'd say the odds of his death are 50-50. In the movie, overall, he's powerful, intimidating, and the strong, silent type. Yeah, he never says a word during the whole cartoon, nor does he in the comics, come to think of it. All he does is growl like an animal.
The last thing I want to talk about is his name.
It confuses the hell out of me. Why is he called Nemesis Enforcer? Is he a nemesis that enforces? Does he enforce nemesis? Whatever the hell that means.
I feel like they just strung 2 cool-sounding words together and called it good. That's my theory anyway.
And that was Nemesis Enforcer. The character is a very effective monster. Silent, menacing, powerful, and creepy. The first toy is the exact opposite of that. Seriously, I've seen Care Bears look more intimidating. If you want this character in your collection, forget the original line. Try to get the 2008 version.
Until next time, mere mortals, when we'll be looking at Cobra-la's head honcho. And if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will.
And send a wish out through the air. Just do